All right, ladies and gentlemen, bonus episode. Got to release the news. Justin Herbert done for the season. It's officially over. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to be without one of the best quarterbacks. At least that's what we've been saying about him. Not such a great year for Justin Herbert. And this will be his first game that he actually misses as a Charger in his 4 years with them so far. So he's going to undergo surgery to repair a broken index finger on his right throwing hand, and he will miss the rest of the season. Ian Rapoport reported that this morning. There's not a lot of people that are surprised about this. This is something that Charger fans have been anticipating. The team later placed Herbert on injured reserve. LA also activated wideout Josh Palmer off IR and signed rookie quarterback Max Duggan to the active roster. Easton Stick is going to still be the starting quarterback for the Chargers. Easton Stick came in for Herbert during the Broncos game. He had a couple decent deep balls, but they signed the rookie quarterback Max Duggan as a backup plan in case something happens to Easton Stick. But he's going to start for the Chargers, who are 5-8 out of the playoffs. This is going to be Stick's first career start come Thursday night against the Raiders. But really, the Chargers and the Raiders, two teams that have been pretty disappointing, not in the playoff hunt by any means. So I don't know who you would cheer for in that game, to be honest. I guess if you're a Broncos fan, you just don't. This will, like I said, this will be his first time missing a start, Justin Herbert, in his 4-year career. The quarterback played through an injured finger on his non-throwing hand earlier this season. Unfortunately, this one's on his throwing hand. Staley told reporters on Monday the Chargers would do whatever's best for Herbert long term. And that's kind of big of Staley to say that, in my opinion, because when you look at the Chargers and the way the season has gone, it's reasonable to believe that this is going to be Staley's last year as a head coach for the Chargers. So for Staley to do what's best long-term for Justin Herbert, even if that means that he doesn't play for the rest of the season, that's kind of big of him because, the Justin Herbert gives the Chargers the best chances of winning. So if he's willing to sacrifice that, and he desperately needs wins to save his job, he's willing to sacrifice that for Justin Herbert's long-term health. I love that. I love that from Staley. And plus, I don't think it makes a difference. That loss to the Broncos was really the end of it all. I don't think they're going to go with Staley next year, but we will see. Herbert, definitely the guy, even though that there's been some times this year that we've questioned whether he's the guy or not. The Chargers already said he's the guy with his massive contract extension in July that he signed worth $262.5 million. Now, things were bad for the Chargers since the very start of the season. They lost their first 2 games by a combined total of 5 points. And then they rode the roller coaster to a 4-4 record before they lost 4 of their last 5 games. The entire operation has been a mess. You got Staley calling defense. Remember, he's calling defense, so you don't have to ask him that question anymore.
We got to bring this group together and do it consistently, okay? And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question, okay?
Just don't ask. Staley's calling defense. The offense looked really bad. Then the defense looked good, right? Or, and vice versa. They just couldn't get on the same page this season. So, yeah, it just looks like it's going to be the end for the Chargers this entire era. Who knows if Mike Williams is going to be back next year after he was lost for the season due to a torn ACL. Staley just kind of hanging in there at this point. I do think he'll be fired. Probably not mid-season. I would imagine if they were going to do a mid-season hire or firing, it would have happened when they lost to the Packers. Okay, Herbert's season is going to come to a close with 3,134 yards passing and completing a career low 65.1% of his passes with 20 touchdowns and 7 picks. And I think Kellen Moore has been able to escape a lot of criticism because of Staley. But remember, Staley's just a guy calling defense. That's what Staley's doing. The lackluster offense from the Chargers, yes, Mike Williams is a huge loss. But Justin Herbert has a career low completion percentage rate, 65.1. He dealing with injuries the whole season. It just hasn't been a good year offensively. And I think for Kellen Moore, he's going to have to reevaluate maybe some of the play calling, whatever philosophy. I don't know. But I do know that this is the worst the Chargers have looked in Kellen Moore's first year. Okay. So it's a tough end of the schedule for the Chargers. It doesn't end very, very easy for them. Questions will now spin toward Staley's future with the ball club. And most likely, I believe that somebody else will be coaching by the end of this year, right? If they do it, I don't think they'll do a midseason firing, but let's say they lose, the next 3 in a row. Maybe you do the firing midseason just so you can get an early start on the head coaching process. Denver did a midseason firing of Nathaniel Hackett last year, and we got to be one of the first teams to interview Sean Payton. So sometimes, it benefits the club to, just be done with your head coach. If they lose 2 or 3 in a row with a backup quarterback, maybe that's what's down the road. But if not, I still think someone else might be coaching Herbert when he makes his comeback in 2024. This was a midday news announcement. It was a pretty big story, so I wanted to hop on here for a second and give you guys that. Also, the NFL did their power rankings, and real quick, I wanted to say the 49ers are still at 1. Me and Rick are going to do ours later, but I wanted to give you the NFL's power rankings. San Francisco at number 1, double-digit win over the rival Seahawks. The 49ers offense was actually very hot and cold for, stretches. They were looking mortal. Then all of a sudden they would look great, and they would just get a huge play, and they're so explosive that even when they don't have their best game, they still win by double digits. Baltimore, moves up to number 2 for the NFL. I'm not going to say, I'm going to hold myself back from commenting because tonight we're going to have our own power rankings. This is the NFL's. Baltimore at number 2. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate. I'm going to move on from that one. Dallas at number 3. Not sure how Dallas is at number 3 right now. The only team that looks like Dallas is the 49ers. But Dallas at 3. Philly at 4. They got Miami at 5 after a stunning home loss to the Titans. Then you got Kansas City at 6. Detroit at 7. Cleveland 8. Jacksonville 9. Buffalo 10. Denver 11. And by the way, putting Denver at 11 is funny. When you got the team at 10 is Buffalo. We beat Buffalo. Number 8, you got Cleveland. We beat Cleveland. Number 7, you got Detroit. We're playing Detroit on Saturday. At 6, you got the Chiefs. We beat the Chiefs. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is the highest the NFL has ever put the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have never been this high on the power rankings. They're up 5 spots. They were at 16 last week. They move all the way up nearly to the top 10. All they had to do was win 6 of their last 7 against teams like Buffalo, Cleveland, Kansas City, the Vikings on a 5-game win streak. And they still aren't in the top 10. That's all right. We will have to just keep proving them wrong every single time we take the field. And Matt LaFleur said last night in his loss to the Giants that the Packers learned a very valuable lesson in the loss. His exact words, obviously extremely disappointed, LaFleur said after the loss. I think our team learned a valuable lesson in terms of if you don't play your best, it doesn't matter who you're playing, when you're playing them. when you're playing, where you're playing them, when you're playing, you're not going to win the game. We lost the turnover battle. We weren't good enough in situational football. Third down, red zone, we had plenty of opportunities. Give New York some credit. They went out there. They played better than we did tonight. This game is all about execution, and we didn't execute to the best of our ability. I agree with all of that. There's just there's something about the NFL, and that's why we say any given Sunday, because if you don't play your best ball, anybody can beat you. And I don't think, the Giants are all that bad when they stick to the formula. Feed Saquon Barkley the ball, and they had Saquon running for multiple touchdowns in this game. And then you're not asking DeVito to do too much. I think I saw not until that last game-winning drive did I see a deep ball downfield. So this is what the Giants were doing with Daniel Jones when they first, when Brian Daboll first got the job. He was operating the offense with Daniel Jones a lot of the way I'm seeing Tommy DeVito operating. But then they started wanting to air it out and get Jalen Hyatt and no, let's take the top off these defenses and Daniel Jones is going to throw for thousands of yards. It didn't work out. And I think what you're really seeing is the Giants just getting back to what works, playing good defense, flying around, running the football, and then asking your quarterback to make a couple throws. Very similar to how the Broncos are going about their business as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, of course, tonight we're going to be going over all of our predictions for the games, including Thursday night football with the Raiders and the Chargers. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Super, super pumped about it. We're going to be we're going to be recapping, not predicting. We're going to be recapping everything. And yeah, we can't skip the recap because it's been insane, but there will be a top five along in the recap. So definitely check out our stream later tonight. And thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, Herbert out for the rest of 2023. It is truly, truly a shame how the Chargers are ending their season. Just another bad week. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at OnlyFootballKR on Twitter. You can follow Rick at AndNowRick, and you can follow me at FTBLONLYPODCAST. Thanks again, as always, and I'll see you guys later tonight. See you!